Hey there. So today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can become a millionaire by investing in virtual economies. So first things first, this is not clickbait, although I know me saying that ultimately makes this seem more clickbaity, but I can assure you it's not. Just as we have real estate millionaires today, we will have virtual real estates of tomorrow, and I'm going to show you how you can be one of them. But you've got to keep up to date with this space because it moves really fast. So shameless plug here, I do recommend you subscribing just so you can keep up to date with this super trend that's set to explode. So in this video today, we're going to be going through what are NFTs, so what are non-fungible tokens. Also be talking about some evidence showing you how you can become a millionaire by investing in these virtual economies, how to identify these opportunities yourself, and how to monetize these NFTs. And finally, we're going to end with some unreleased games and metaverses that I believe could be huge. Okay, so first things first, what are NFTs? A non-fungible token is a unit of data stored on a digital ledger called a blockchain. And that certifies a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. So you can't take a NFT Mona Lisa and swap it for an NFT when Andy Warhol painting. So they're not interchangeable. They're both unique and they're not convertible one to one. Whereas like you can take one Bitcoin and it is fungible for another Bitcoin. And same with the $10 note, it is fungible for another $10 note. So NFTs, they're more than just a JPEG or GIF. And I'm saying GIF here because the creator of the file itself, they wanted the name to be pronounced GIF. So that's just why I'm saying that there. But NFTs can be used to represent a multitude of different things. For artists, that may be a JPEG, a GIF, or an MP3 file for music artists. But they can also be used to represent a house deed, graduation certificate, ticket, a virtual land plot, digital creature, or even an in-game weapon or skin even. So some of the evidence that is available out there at the moment to show that you can actually become a millionaire by investing in these NFTs. So this is one example here. So I know for a fact you can become a millionaire by investing in these virtual economies because I've heard stories of people doing it. So with a $30,000 investment, one investor was able to make $1 million NFT portfolio in just 1 year. Now, I'm not saying it will only take you 1 year to do this, but the reality is it could. And this is one of yesterday's headlines right here. So NFT game creator flips Axie Infinity virtual land for 9,200% gain in 1 year. So Illuvium co-founder Kieran Warwick, and we'll get into what Illuvium is later in this video. So he sold a virtual land plot in Axie Infinity for $28,000 after purchasing it last year for $300, right? So if Kieran had invested $11,000, he'd have $1,012,000 today. And that would be in less than a year. So it goes to show you it can happen. So I bet you're wondering, okay, that's great, but how do I identify these opportunities, right? So investing in the metaverse is very similar to investing in physical real estate. Before investing, these are some of the questions you may want to ask yourself. So how popular will this metaverse be? This is largely based off speculation, but if you've been exposed to AAA games like Fortnite in the past, you'll have a good idea as to whether or not it could be viable. Second question to ask yourself is, what's the community like? Is there an active, bubbling community where daily active users are increasing? So that's a metric that you really want to be looking for. Then in terms of your investment, if you're looking to invest in land plots in these metaverses, you want to be asking yourself, who is building around me? So what's better than having Mark Cuban as your neighbor in the physical world? Having him as a neighbor in the virtual world. because there's no doubt he's going to want to invite his billionaire buddies to build things around his metaverse plots, right? And if you're one of those people that is holding a plot next to Mark Cuban, and the land value around Mark Cuban's plot is going up because people are seeing that Mark is inviting his buddies to get in, that all pushes up and increases the value of the plots around you. And it's like the network effect. Everyone wants to live in these suburbs in the physical world because they've got a name, a stigma, or some sort of draw card to that area, right? So that's the same deal with these metaverse plots. And you can see here in the Sandbox metaverse, you've got Atari, and they've got a massive Atari estate in the Sandbox, right? And you've got all these other plots that surround it. So if Atari is building things that is ultimately bringing more users into the game, well, that actually will help increase the value of those surrounding plots. It's just that network effect, and yeah, just sort of like where you live, like having the worst house on the best street. It's all about location. That's the best way to put it, really. So then you also want to be asking yourself, what new developments are coming to this ecosystem? Are they introducing land play like Axie Infinity? So in Axie Infinity, you'll be able to do things with your land. So you'll have your little creatures and they'll little Axies, and they'll be able to do things on your land plots, right? So then you also want to be asking yourself, what utility does my land have? So what can you do with your land? And does the size or rarity of the plot change what utility it has? Ultimately, if you have a larger plot, you'll be able to build bigger things on it. The rarity of the plot, it might be exclusivity. So you might be able to build only certain things on your plot of land. So that will ultimately affect the value of a plot as well. So each metaverse you look into is a rabbit hole in itself. You've got to sort of dive in and understand the mechanics of the game and what it is you're investing in ultimately. Then you also want to be asking yourself, how many land plots are available? So supply and demand mechanics. If they mint 10,000 land plots, then all of a sudden there's 1 million players. You can see how scarce these land plots become, right? So, and then finally, you also want to ask yourself, what are the play to earn mechanics like? Play to earn is relatively new gaming model made possible thanks to blockchain technology. In developing countries, these play to earn games present a huge opportunity because individuals can make money playing these virtual games, and they can make more money playing these virtual games than they could actually working in their countries in the physical world themselves. So it's a massive opportunity for these developing countries in terms of income for their family. So how do you monetize these NFT offerings, right? So there's multiple things you can do. There's leasing, right? You can buy plots or creatures and lease them out to make an income. There may be people that are unable to afford the upfront costs associated with these investments, or they may just want to experience the game and understand it before jumping in. Therefore, as an owner of these assets, you can charge these types of individuals to borrow your assets. I've heard examples where individuals are making tens of thousands of dollars per month leasing their Axies in Axie Infinity, all right? It's insane. It's insane to think of, comprehend, but this is actually what's happening right now. This isn't something in the future. This is right now what's happening, right? Playing is the second way you can monetize these offerings. So being a play to earn model, you can literally make money playing these games. I've heard instances where people are making $25 per Axie per day playing Axie Infinity, right? Then you've also got options like breeding. So this may sound like a crazy concept, but you can actually breed some of these virtual creatures in these games to make more virtual creatures. The number of times you can breed and the number of offspring you have varies depending on the metaverse you're dealing with. But for instance, with Zrun as an example, you can have your stallion or colt service 3 mares or fillies a month, and you can have a mayor or filly service once a month. And there's 2 revenue models right there in that game, where you might have a mare, you're getting it serviced, producing more offspring, you have a colt or stallion there, you put it in the stud farm, and then all of a sudden you're getting income from your male horse there. So yeah, lots of potential for revenue in these ecosystems. Then you've also got pay to play, which is another way you can monetize your investments in these metaverses also. So using Zrun as another example, users have to pay to enter races, and those fees are used for the race prize pool. Then in another example, we've got the Sandbox metaverse, which will be host to a number of different games that users may have to pay to play. So owners of these land plots can lease their land to game creators that could monetize their land with games, or the owner of the land could do this themselves, right? So like if you're a creative at heart and you've got a great idea for a game, you can actually go out and you can make the game yourself. Or if you're less creative, you can just buy the land, lease it to someone who is more creative or that way inclined to actually make a game, and then you can still get monetize your land by leasing it to them. And ultimately they'd be taking out that lease because they'd believe that they'd make more income from the game that could then offset the lease, right? So exactly what happens in the physical world right now. So, and then finally, another revenue stream is flipping. And this is all based on identifying opportunities and identifying the way I've mentioned previously by asking yourself those questions. But you want to be buying low and selling high. Sounds simple enough, but it can be challenging to execute at times. And finally, we're going to conclude the video with upcoming games and metaverses that I believe could be huge. So I've seen some early release stuff. I've done my own research, and from what I've seen, I believe these could be quite big ecosystems in the future and could be worth investing in early. And it's something that I am going to be definitely looking into. So the first one is called Illuvium. Now, Illuvium is an open world RPG adventure game built on the Ethereum blockchain. And in this game, you journey across a vast and varied landscape on your quest to hunt and capture deity-like creatures called alluvials. I haven't been able to find any information on what you can necessarily do with these alluvials, how you can monetize them, if you can breed with them, things like that. But I saw this tweet from the creator of Illuvium, and it said Illuvium plots interested ? So it does look like they are going to have land plots available like Axie Infinity. That's a bit of speculation there, but that's definitely something I'm going to be looking into, is actually investing in these land plots in Illuvium itself. The second one I'm looking into is called D-Race. So D-Race looks like it's a competitor to Zrun in the area of NFT horse racing. So D-Race is a complete NFT horse racing ecosystem where you can participate in horse races, breed NFT horses with unique characteristics, build your own NFT hippodrome, and make a profit while doing it. So it's really crazy, the ecosystem they're creating. They're looking at online casinos, having betting and things available there, advertising in hippodromes. If you actually own 50% of a hippodrome, you can become a bookmaker yourself. Then other things that they're looking at as well that they have is saddles. You'll be able to buy NFT saddles, which will ultimately affect your horse's racing ability also, and horseshoes. And yeah, so it's a real breadth of a NFT horse racing ecosystem that they've got there. A lot of different factors, a lot of different elements, a lot of different potential for making revenue. And yeah, I believe it could be quite a big ecosystem. And finally, the last one that I'm also looking forward to coming out is called Realm. And Realm, what they're doing is creating what they're calling microverses. So with these microverses, you can create and explore your own personal metaverse that they're terming a microverse. And you can have those metaverses look different ways. You can have them in voxel appearance, you can have them real life appearance, or a low poly look. So at the moment, you've got ecosystems like Decentraland, and they've gone for a low poly look. So everything in their ecosystem is essentially low poly. Same with the Sandbox, in that they've gone for a voxel look. So everything in their metaverse is voxel-like. Whereas with this, you've got that flexibility, that customization of you can have your metaverse look and feel how you want it to. So having that flexibility there and customization actually lends this to be potentially a really big ecosystem there. So again, I'm not sure on the land side of things in terms of plots, estates, and things like that you can invest in yet. But additionally, what they're also going to have is blockchain pets, and they will have a Genesis offering of blockchain pets. So Genesis pets will be the rarest in that they're the first available, and then they have different tiers of decreasing rarity after that. But with these blockchain pets, they'll have different genetics. You'll be able to take them into different realms that will ultimately influence their attributes and things as well. So they're creating quite a unique ecosystem there. And finally, they're also going to have interactive NFTs. So they're working with a creator at the moment, and that creator is working on NFT vehicles that you'll be able to sit in and race around in their microverse, and that might be a play to earn model. Again, I'm not really sure on the details there, but it's something that I'm also looking out for. So that pretty much wraps up everything I had to say. I just wanted to, I guess, bring awareness to this space in terms of the opportunities that are available. Blockchain, NFT, crypto, it's so much more than just Bitcoin and buying and holding Bitcoin. Like there's a lot more elements that go into it. So I wanted to highlight some of those today and actually bring awareness to how much opportunity there is in this space. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you're liking, make sure you're commenting, let me know. Feedback is awesome. And also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos and keep up to date with other things that I'll be looking to. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.